Alright, what's going on? We got a bunch of replays from the previous patch. We got to get through them before I can update to the new patch. So, what do we have here? We have Mr. Overlord on the Lizardmen fighting Winter Wolf on the Greenskins. For Winter Wolf, we have a Goblin Great Shaman, another Ragnarok Spider. Looks like 6 Skirmish Cav, a mix of wolves and spiders. 3 Wolf Riders, 3 more Spider Riders, 2 Orc Boar Boys, 1 Orc Boar Barbarian, and an Orc Boar Chariot. So a fully mobile Greenskin army. Interesting. And for the Lizardmen, we have an Ancient Salamander, Saurus Scar Veteran on foot, along with Crossguard Ancient on foot, Skink Priest of Beasts on foot as well, Flock of Doom, and what is that spell? The Amber Spear. Gotcha. Saurus Warriors, looks like 4 of them, 1 Legion of Chakwa to protect with some missile resist, 2 Chameleon Skinks, 1 Pawhawk Sentinels, and 2 Bastildons of Vivification Crystals. Nice, nice. I'm going to turn the sound up because it's quiet as hell. That's better. Alright. Skirmish advantage definitely goes to the Greenskins with the 6 Skirmish Cav. They can pretty easily bully these 3. Maybe the Ancient Salamander can change it, but these Cav are going to be really spread out. So it will be interesting to see what Winter Wolf does here. Looks like he's going to immediately take a fight with some Forest Goblin Spider Riders running straight into Saurus Warriors. That's not a great gauge for him, and he is piling up, blobbing a lot. And this Bastildon with Revivification Crystal is going to charge in on the side, try to get some terror routes off, and get some nice free damage. The Saurus are taking a bit of work, but look at how clumped up these Spider Riders are. And if that Ancient Salamander would stop friendly firing the Saurus, this would be going a lot better for them. These other Saurus are getting hit with a bunch of Boar Cav, and they're going to try to hold their ground. But, ooh, an Overcasted Flock of Doom is going to hit all of these Spider Riders, and the 2 big Arachnocs will come in trying to get on top of that Bastildon. Crossguard Ancient will come in from behind, and is he popping any debuffs? He is not at the moment, but those big spiders are pseudo-surrounded, and their leadership is pretty garbage, so we'll already see 1 start to rout off, especially with the Plaque of Dominion coming down from the Saurus Scar Veteran. But, oh, it does rally a little bit here. So it's maybe doing okay. The 6 Skirmish Cav are all shooting at some Saurus with spears, and they're actually doing good damage now that the Saurus Warriors have turned around and their shields aren't facing the Skirmish Cav. But this is still largely going in favor of the Lizardmen. The Spider Riders and Wolf Riders have been largely routed off. These big dinos are taking, big spiders are taking a lot of damage. And sure, the Bastildon is as well, but he's cheaper than either of these units, and he does have healing from the other Bastildon that can go on top of him. 1 Arachnarok is routed. It might come back. There's not a whole lot of things that can actually chase it off, but the damage on it has been significant. Spider Riders managed to rally and come back in. I imagine they will be leaving quite soon. The Orc Boar Cav, as we can see, has all been crumped by just tons of Saurus Infantry and Skirmish Cav supporting that fight. Spiders and Wolves are blinking on their leadership, probably going to start leaving, and the Crossguard Ancient does pop Monstrous Strength to fight against the Goblin Great Shaman, and it's getting shot in the face by the Ancient Salamander, which is doing a lot of nice damage there. A little Vindictive Glare cast on the Pawhawk Sentinels is not too bad, and he gets another cast off onto the Ancient Salamander. Weird. Oh, I wonder if he popped that ability that lowers the ability cooldown. Maybe. Or it's a bug. Who knows? This is the buggy patch after all. Some of the Greenskin forces are trying to rally, but they're having a really tough time doing it. Goblin Great Shaman is at about 2/3 health, going towards half, which is not great for him. Pterodons are trying to chase down all these forces. They're doing an okay job of it. Some things are rallying, but the Lizardmen are in pretty good shape here. They are trying to chase off these units. This Arachnarok will probably come back unless it gets rear charged by these Pawhawk Sentinels, which could happen. Goblin Guard Shaman's going to be running, and I think these Skirmish Cav can skirmish the rest of the day until they run out of ammo, and they won't do that much to these Saurus, especially with Revivification Crystals nearby. Which, along with healing, can actually resurrect models if needed. It'll prioritize healing units that are still on the field, but if it overcrushes or anything like that, it will bring up dead models, like Invocation of the Hack. Goblin Guard Shaman's still fighting. He's honestly doing pretty well, considering he's a terrible leadership unit, and he's fighting 2 anti-large pieces. Well, I guess the Croxar Ancient's just... he's anti-infantry, but he has a lot of armor piercing. And the Goblin Great Shaman will rout. Bounce power is pretty heavily in favor of the Lizardmen, and it's just going to be a matter of them chasing down things. Chasing. Goblin Great Shaman is actually going to get back out of range, and it will probably rally. I don't know if it'll matter. All these Skirmish Cav are trying to get a rear charge on these Saurus Spears and Dinosaurs, which will not go well for them. They will probably break very quickly. And that they do. It's a bit of a back and forth here, but the game is pretty much a foregone conclusion. Well played. Nice build from Mr. Overlord. I will say, to nitpick, there were 6 single entities, 3 single entities, 3 single entity monsters. Good sir. But other than that, nice build. Nice build. Oh, these Horse Warriors weren't shielded. They're just basic variants. Interesting, though. I like Revivification Crystals. I've been using them, actually, when I play Lizardmen recently. If you want healing outside of the Lord slot. And they have, like, 10 charges or something like that. So if the game is going to go longer, it can get a lot done. For Winterwolf, I like the idea. I've tried it myself, but I was getting into it, well, not an argument, but, like... Yeah, it was an argument, but it wasn't a bad-natured one, with Butcherbird, one of my mods and admins on YouTube, about Orc Borcav. I just really don't like them. I don't think they get their value most of the time. Now, to be fair, that one did. That one didn't. Skirmish Cav is good. Ragnarok Spider would have been good if there was more big dinosaurs, but instead the dinosaurs are more supportive, and the carry potential is just in Saurus and Croxaurs and stuff. Wolf Riders... Goblin Spider Rider is just meant to chase down Chameleon Skinks or Chameleon Stalkers. That were there, but just not a terribly large amount of them. Let's get rid of that, and we'll cast Mr. Overlord Game 2 with Winterwolf. Beastmen versus Bretonnia. This is a good matchup for the Beastmen, but it looks like there won't be... This is on the patch the Tuskor Chariots were very, very strong. It doesn't look like Mr. Overlord will be overly using them. I bet his caster will be on one, but... 2 freestanding ones won't be here, which is good to see. We do have a very vanguarded position. It looks like the Beastmen are... If the Bretonians were positioned right here, you would be right next up to them, run up, kill them before their archers can really do much, or the Trebs. And if they're not here, you can approach from running downhill and running through a forest to cover you. So that's a nice little play. Of the 2 places they could be deployed, that is nice. Because if you deploy here, right... and they are here, like they currently are. Again, you do what I said over here, and you crush them. But if you deploy here and they're over here, you have to advance all the way across this empty, barren spot. It's not that far, but you can still take archer fire. You're charging up a hill, so... Mr. Overlord put himself in a situation where there's 2 winning options, rather than a situation where it's 50-50 and whether or not he has a good engagement. So I like that deployment a lot. We have a Doom Bull, a Gore Bull, Bray Shaman of Wilds with Traderkin, and... Bray Scream, it looks like, along with a Cygor summon on his Tuskor Chariot. We have Gore Herds and Ungore Herds across the line, so just a vast line of infantry sprinting forward. On the far side, it looks like hidden, we have some Centigors in the trees, one of which has great weapons to fight the Armored Cav, and we have 3 Razorgoers, also very good at fighting the Armored Cav. No ranged from the Beastmen. They're not going to dilly-dally with that at all. They're just trying to get in here and squash. Now for the Bretonians, they don't have a lot to resist the squashing. Peasant mobs will die very quickly, men-at-arms will die very quickly, and this whole front line will be collapsed quite easily. There are 4 peasant bowmen with fire arrows, a Blessed Field Trebuchet to force the Beastmen in, and then we have the 3 armored knights. That's where a lot of your funds are going. It looks like we have Knights Errant ROR, Knights of the Realm ROR, and Questing Knights ROR. In the sky, we have 2 paladins, and we have the Fey Enchantress on her unicorn. A solid Bretonian build, indeed. I like it from both players. The Beastmen are kind of favored in this matchup because of their access to armor piercing, but still a pretty good build. I really like to see the little Razor Gores. The pigs are tech I don't see enough, I feel. They are pretty good. Cheap little armor piercing units there. Now these great weapons are trying to get on top of these archers, and they're getting a lot of damage done. You can see Mr. Overlord has already shattered the Blessed Trebuchet. He's already routed off. It looks like 2 different archers, which is very good. The cavalry are eating these Centigors alive, but I think that trade is quite worth it at the moment. We do have an Awakening of the Wood coming down here. I thought maybe a Chalice of Potions was coming in, but the Beastmen are just crushing through this front line, as Beastmen want to do. They are a faction about speed and blitzing. They don't really want a protracted engagement for any reason. Now the Bretonian Knights, nice Chalice of Potion there from Winterwolf. That does a lot of damage. The Bretonnia Knights are already surrounded. Fey Enchantress is doing her best to drain down the Beastmen force, but she is having trouble, considering her Knights are dying. Paladins in the sky trying to decide where to go. They don't really want to dive down to all these bodies because they won't come back out. Razor Gores do have good mass. They can pin things in. But you can see almost everything's off the battlefield. Companions of Quinels are fighting some Ungor herds, but other than that, it's just the Fey double paladin. They're strong, but they're not strong enough for this. They will get ground down. Can anything come back? Maybe this little pocket for the Bretonnians can come back. Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis should probably rally. They have plenty of leadership and distance. If they don't rally, that's actually kind of tragic. I don't think it changed the course of this game, but still, damn. Probably should have rallied. Other than that, Razor Gores are surrounding all these dudos, doing very good damage. Fey Enchantress is draining all of this. One thing the Beastmen player could do, they're in a very strong situation in this game, so they don't have to, but for future practice, probably just send in 2 or 3 units at a time. All these things getting drained down at once, and they're not, not that many models are actually in contact with what he's trying to fight. But the game's pretty well in hand at this point. That was a nice charge, nice crush through everything. No units were really forgotten. Just pounded through what they needed to. That's good shit. Good shit indeed. Bretonnia can have a hard time there. If they try to go elite cav, they can just get Traderkin down or Razor Gored to death. You can see the Razor Gores actually got really good value. Love that unit. Centaurs also got good value. Goreherds did fine. They did their job. They cut through the front line super easily. They're not going to get their value back from killing peasants, but they did good. And the Hero Corps did great. Doombol's cool too. I like his addition. Fey Enchantress got 3,000 value from her spells and draining, but other than that, this army got slapped. Poor peasants facing the might of the Beastmen. My suggestion for the Bretonnians, I don't know this matchup super well. Probably more Knights of the Realm, more Spearmen over the Men-at-Arms with the Sword and Shield, because they have... Oh, let's just delete that so I don't forget it. Oopsies. Delete it so I don't forget it. Go to Custom Battle real quick. So in most cases, with most factions, why you see Spearmen over their sword counterparts is because of the melee defense. They have 4 more melee defense. And the Men-at-Arms, I guess it's a pretty bad example, because actually the Men-at-Arms' shields have higher stats in other areas. But their charge bonus goes from pathetic to still pretty pathetic. Their weapon strength is bad to still bad. And then you get 15 bonus versus large, which makes your melee attack 35 against anything large, while the Men-at-Arms is 27. So if you're killing infantry, that in most matchups doesn't matter. Like if it's bad enough to be killed by Men-at-Arms, anything else can kill it too. Or you could actually do some poke damage to large targets that matter. But that melee defense isn't exactly the example I wanted to show. Empire, I know, does it better. Yeah, so you can see 10 more melee defense on Spearmen. That's why you see Spearmen with shields over Swordsmen in most cases. Because what these guys' jobs isn't to kill a bunch of stuff, right? It's to hold the line. For holding line, the only stat you really care about is melee defense and leadership. And their leadership is the same, but their melee defense is higher. So that's usually why you see Spearmen chaff. And I'm hovering on Tomb Kings, I guess I could show you that too. It's the same thing. 8 more melee defense for 25 gold, and their whole objective is to, say it with me, stand there. Anyway, that was that. We can probably cast one more in this little blurb. Torax versus the Forest? That sounds appropriate. We have the Phoenix King on Wood Elves versus EC Malvado, which I believe is EC Malverde, but I cannot confirm that. The Wood Elves have Durthu, a Waystalker, some Eternal Guards, some Wildwood Rangers, and Deepwood Scouts. So it's kind of like this Vanguard push build. Some Blight Riders with Spears of support, and Wildwood Rangers. Interesting. A lot of elite infantry there. And for the Beastmen of Malverde, we have 3 Harpies units to take care of Hawk Riders if they existed, 2 Manticores, 1 Tuskor Chariot that's already been sniped out, Torax the Brass Bull, Bray Shaman of Wild, and a Bray Shaman of Beasts. We have Traderkin, and we have Flock of Doom. Ungor Herds to push up, Centaurs to help push up as well. And the Sons of Goro Centaurs are great weapons on the far side. Well, pretty standard Beastmen push build. Sucks that Tuskor Chariot got sniped out that hard, but that's the life of fighting Wood Elves. Anything precious to you will be immediately obliterated. And this Beastman build feels small. I wonder if... Is Torx very elite? Oh yeah, he has a ton of items. Okay, I was like, why? Where's most of their funds? Centaurs are going out for a flank. They're trying to get on top of these Deepwood Scouts. The Harpies that tied them up for a little bit are getting torn apart. Ooh, Sons of Goros piling in over here actually made this a really good engagement for the Beastmen. So they collapse some key elements over here, and it looks like, wow, Manticore gets on top of these Deepwood Scouts. We have Centaurs on the far side trying to get in here, and the Beastmen of Malverde have managed to punch through the front line in several areas. And not that they beat the front line, they just literally walked through it, which is pretty funny. Another Flock of Doom coming down these Deepwood Scouts, and Torox is there. He's going to do a lot of damage. Another Glade Rider's Spear is down. It looks like they're kind of getting crumped all over the map wherever they try to hold their ground at all. These Glade Riders with Spears are having a bad time. Deepwood Scouts are getting more and more compromised. And Manticores are running around. Was there a summon that I heard? It's hard to tell. Ah, there was a Wood Elf summon. Gotcha. So Durthu's running around. He's going to finish off this last Tuskor Chariot. Oof, down to one model. That low on health. I mean, he missed, but it's probably still going to rout. Beastmen be beastin'. Wildwood Rangers getting on top of a Feral Manticore will kill it very, very quickly. A Brave Shaman of Beast just running away from more Wildwood Rangers. And there are a lot of elite infantry left here. We can see the balance power is in favor of the Wood Elves. All those elite infantry certainly helping with their situation. The Beastmen are running out of elements in some ways. We can see one of the casters is over there dying. Manticore is very beat up. All their infantry are very, very beat up. The Tuskor Chariot, we already saw run for the hills, and it's trying to come back now. Maybe Torox can try to fight Durthu. If he takes down Durthu, maybe he can possibly, potentially take out a bunch of Wildwood Rangers, but it's looking a little tough. Not undoable, but tough. Ooh, and Torox getting the brakes beaten off of him, which is definitely not good. Now, that Manticore summon will fade from the Wood Elves pretty soon here. Waystalker is still shooting in onto Torox, doing a lot of damage there. And some Wildwood Rangers are coming. How many do we got? About 3/4, 1/4, half. 3/4. Yes, they're pretty healthy still. Torox running away. This Shaman of Wilds is trying to get into melee with that Waystalker. That's kind of funny looking. Ooh, and the Sons of Goros come in on the rear flank, and with a Manticore coming in from the front, sandwiching in that Waystalker. Hopefully they'll be able to do some good damage to him while Torox keeps kiting out these elite infantry. But a Flock of Doom comes in from Durthu. It's a Flock of Doom fight here. An awful lot of birds just flying around. And Durthu will be running in to fight some of the Sons of Goros, who are going to break when being flanked by these Wildwood Rangers, and they are just getting the business. Wildwood Rangers, man. They aren't fucking around. More Deepwood Scouts getting routed off. And how are we doing across the map? The Feral Manticores have rallied. Maybe they should be sent over here to flank charge these Wildwood Rangers, potentially break them off, and free up the Wildscaster so you can have Traderkin for the late game. Ooh, actually, that's the Beastcaster, so you can Flock of Doom. Okay, I think Traderkin's better, so saving him is a little more important. Double Feral Manticore jump in onto Durthu. They'll try to do some damage, but there's a bunch of chaff around their rampage, so they won't even focus on Durthu, per se. And even if they do, he is one extremely tanky tree. Torox is trying to get a rear charge here. I wonder if he has his explosion. Maybe he does. He could do some good work if that's the case. One Manticore is breaking. The other Manticore is getting low on health and leadership, and the Brave Shaman of Wilds has come back. If he can overcast Traderkin here, maybe he can do enough damage to kind of rout off some units and give Torox some time with the tree, because it looks like now that he's fighting Durthu, roughly mano a mano, he's actually getting some work done. Can Torox carry? Maybe. Possibly. Probably not. What is that? Is that the Traderkin? No, it's a Flock of Doom on just Torox. He will keep fighting Durthu, but now the Wildwood Rangers have started paying attention to him. He is surrounded by elite armor-piercing infantry. That might be the death of everyone's second favorite bull. What's coming back? We have Beastcaster kind of coming back. Other than that, it looks like a lot of Wood Elf infantry. Waystalker's getting crumped a little bit. Basic Centaurs are coming. They could try to rear charge into this area, but Torox the Brass Bull, he's just standing and fighting. He's trying to ignore all these guys, and he might take out Durthu, actually. He is one hell of a 1v1 combatant. What a tanky lad. Hey, there's the fire explosion. Pushes some things back. Durthu's now getting karate chopped on all sides. 2 Manticores and a Torox will take him out very quickly. And that leaves the Wood Elves leadership and magicless. Leadership drained and magicless, I should say. Still have 5 decently healthy infantry units. 1 wounded elite infantry unit. Other than that, Wood Elves don't have anything else, but what do the Beastmen have to counter them? They have a Shattered Manticore, a soon-to-be Routing Manticore that also might shatter depending on how many times it's broken in this game. You've been negative for a while, my friend. Go away. Ungor herds are breaking. Manticore's breaking, maybe? Nope, does rally. Does it rally? Nope. Yep. Nope. Yep. Alright, it's rallying. It's pretty much Taurox and Traderkins versus all of this. Flock of Dooms, I think, is maybe, depending on how much mana Malverde has in general, I think it might be a waste. One overcast Traderkin is worth like 2 or 3 Flocks of Doom, if I remember correctly. So I would probably just do that. If you have a Traderkin, use that instead of Flock of Doom. Manticore and Taurox are trying to fight this little pocket. These Eternal Guards with shields actually might tear her out pretty soon. You guys tear, don't you? Flock of Doom coming in. Alright. I mean, poke damage is poke damage. That Manticore is gonna break. It will not shatter, but that means next time it comes back, it definitely shatters. There's no way that thing has another charge left in it. Taurox is still fighting his damnedest, and there's not really any chaff coming to save him. Those Ungor Spearmen are way too far away. That Bray Shaman might even break, honestly. And Taurox is just trying to fight. He gets a nice little dive animation to get him out of the center of this area, which is kind of nice for him. I mean, you definitely don't want to be surrounded by models on all sides. He's going to break off one Eternal Guard, breaks off another Wildwood Ranger. These two are quite injured. God, Taurox is doing so much damage to these guys. Remember when they were like all full health? That was pretty crazy. Feral Manticore dives in and is going to immediately break, which will shatter it. No, it just went negative for a second, and now it's doing okay. Taurox still fighting. Wildwood Ranger still fighting. Traderkin caster coming back. Flock of Doom caster just running for his life, honestly. I think the Wood Elves got a little too split up, a little too sure of their victory. They needed to either focus on Taurox or focus on something, but they tried to chase off too many things at once and just got a little split up and let them 1v1 too many things to the ground. Especially Durthu. I think the Phoenix King thought he had this and got maybe a little lazy in his micro because his early and mid games were so good. Taurox is going to break, however. That being said, Wildwood Rangers will follow him out the door. And that leaves the Wood Elves with very little. Now, the Manticore did shatter, and these Eternal Guards will be getting a charge on the Ungor Spearman herd. Can they break them before this Bray Shaman really gets involved? I don't know. Taurox is so low on health, 467, but if he rallies at all, he can probably still get one more of those fire explosions on the Wildwood Rangers and finish them off from there. Ungor Spearman shatter. Taurox is back. There's a Spearman unit right next to him to support him. If he rests for a bit so he's not exhausted, because he needs his vigor back for leadership more than anything, I think he will be just fine. Wildwood Rangers charging in onto this Bray Shaman, and they will do a lot of damage to that Bray Shaman unless he has a spell in the pocket here. And he's got to cast one, otherwise he's going to take so much damage, and winning in combat would give the Wildwood Rangers the confidence to keep going. For some reason it says combat even though this guy's lost 300 health in just a couple seconds. So that's definitely not combat even in my opinion. Taurox is standing off on the side. He's already gone from exhausted to very tired, which is quite good for him. And the Beastmen are once again down in the balance of power. Bray Shaman of Wilds has gotten his ass thoroughly kicked by the Wildwood Rangers without any magic in his pocket to cast. He is no match for the elite swordsman of the woods. He will be breaking any moment here. And potentially even dying. Where's that Beast's caster? Beast caster is still getting chased around by a full health unit of Eternal Guards with shields. Ooh, that is tough. While it's nice to keep the magic out of here, it is really tough to lose a full health unit like that, all to chasing one unit down. Taurox is walking into combat. He will now try to get a charge off, and charging gives him a little bit of a leadership buff. Can he use it before the Wild Rangers can really rally? It looks like... What the hell? 3 charge animations in a row stop him from taking, like, any damage. 4 charge animations in a row. Do we see 5? He's down to 1 leadership. 4. 1. 18. Another charge animation. This man only knows how to do somersaults. He never stands up and fights. Charges again. Literally all he does is charge. It's kind of upsetting. He did cast his little... pew-pew machine and do a lot of damage there. He's down to 256 health. He is fighting Wildwood Rangers. They are probably going to break, but they need to just get as many attacks on him as possible. Whittle down that health for those Eternal Guards with spears in the far corner to carry this. We all know the Wild Rangers are running. It's just how much damage they do on the way out. Torx is down to 147. He entered that fight with 460. So that is certainly a good trade. Wild Rangers are trying to chase down this Bray Shaman of Wilds, who is the exact same speed as them. So they could theoretically follow him off the map. That might potentially, possibly be a waste of time. Spearmen are going to try to chase down this Bray Shaman of Beasts. Wild Rangers are going to chase down this Bray Shaman of Wilds. It looks like these Eternal Guards with shields have realized they will literally never catch that guy. He is faster than them, so they might be trying to gather up with their Wildwood friends. Since this is a replay, we can't hit that pew-pew fast-forward button, and both sides will regroup. Do you have a Flock of Doom yet? It's been so long since we've seen a spell. Either you're out of mana, or you have one. There's no in between. There's no way you're still charging up after all this time. Nice drink of water. Torax is fresh. Bray Shaman of Beast is exhausted. Wild Rangers are exhausted. Eternal Guard with shields are exhausted. But will Torax take too much damage on the charge? He takes about 50 health. He's down to 77. And he has another explosion, which does some good damage to the Wild Rangers. They still have 700 health. He has 65. There has to be a Flock of Doom if the Beastmen are going to pull this out, I think. Torax down to 31 health. He is slowly breaking. Down to up and dead. Leadership doesn't care if you're dead. The Wild Rangers are routing. The Bray Shaman of Beasts is trying to fight. He only has 5 leadership surrounded by Eternal Guard. They're just way Eternal Guard for him. He will break. What do we have left? Ungor Spearmen. Great. We all know that this guy's faster than those Eternal Guards. The Ungor Spearmen are going to cut off the Wildwood Rangers. Probably try to chop them down. I think Ungor Spearmen are a little bit faster that they are, so they can actually catch him. And the Bray Shaman of Beasts might be able to actually escape, because he is faster than the Eternal Guard. Does he have a Flock of Doom? As we mentioned, it's not like it's a Burning Head. It won't really chase them off. And he does Shatter, which allows them to turn around and fight the last Spearman. That was a banger. That was a banger. You love to see it. Wild Rangers all did great. They did way better than I thought they would. Deepwood Scouts didn't actually do that much. Neither did the Cav. It was just the Wildwood Rangers carrying the shit out of this. That's kind of cool. Waste Stalker and Dirthu both did really well. Torax did amazing, like 3,200 value. That's nice. Casters both did fine. Chaff did okay for being Chaff. Centaurs did really well too. Harpies had a tough time, but they were there in case of Hawk Rider Cheese. So, it is what it is. That was a really fun game though, actually. That was hype. Alright, that's it for this recording. See you in a bit.